Hey everybody, it's Shaun from Shaun Show Productions, and today I want to thank our guest Knives Monroe for joining us tonight. And he's just going to come around. We're going to talk about making movies, making films, the business parts, and the things that come with that, all that and a whole lot more. So, without any more fluff and bullshit, Knives Monroe, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here, man. We planned this about a week in advance, so I'll try my best to give you and your listeners everything I got.
I really appreciate that. Let's just start with maybe, just a little bit about yourself, who you are, a little bit about, what you did, and maybe like what inspired you to really, get into films.
Sure, man. My name is Knives Monroe. That's my real name. I'm a father, got 2 kids, been in the business for 13 years. I realized I was a filmmaker in 2004, the summer of 04, when my mom rented me Kill Bill Volume 1. And in the first 90 seconds of watching that movie, I realized, holy shit, I'm a filmmaker. Like a bolt of lightning, I akin it to my letter from Hogwarts. Like I open it up, oh, I'm a filmmaker. That explains why I can talk to snakes. That explains why I can I think in a cinema language. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Community, but that character Abed, who kind of just thinks and breaking the fourth wall and kind of just sees things visually and thematically and kind of sees things in genres. I mean, for better or worse, that's how I kind of filter life. So I've made 3 feature films. I've produced 4 feature films. I've done a ton of shorts, music videos, been a part of a 2-season web series. And I try my best to stay as active and productive as possible. The work-life balance of trying to manage your social life. I live in a big city. My rent is too damn high. Trying to manage being a father, being there for the kids, and making a movie is a tedious one. It takes sacrifice, and I don't mean to glamorize it. I definitely don't want to romanticize sacrifice, but it's part of it because what we do is. That's what we do. You know what I mean? So it's a privilege. It's my religion. It's my perspective. And, one of the upsides of being a part of this business and this culture is that we get to communicate like this. You know what I mean? It brings people together that we didn't get connected because of a feature film that I did. We got connected because of a Facebook Live that I did. You know what I mean? Which is basically a commentary on what I have to share because I've done it. I've been raped by the business. I've been put on a pedestal by the business, all this stuff. So being able to go out there in the frugal filmmaking group page and give as much value as I can in about 15 minutes or less. It got this to happen. So I find that very valuable. And I think that's where we're moving as independent filmmakers.
I could agree more with that. We just live at such a great age where there are so many opportunities out there, and if you've got the ability to have the drive, the perspective, and the passion to understand that it's not glamorous, but have the satisfaction of being able to go out there and say, I created this baby, and it's not just my baby, it's the producer's baby, it's the cinematographer's baby, it's every actor, every producer, every key grip lighting, every human being on that set or on that location is so much a part of it. And for me personally, I've done very small projects, only about 3 or 4 so far, and I just keep working, doing more and more. And I found that that's for me the golden moment is when you're sitting, you're working with people, you're talking, and someone comes up and says, hey, what if we do this? And you're like, oh, that's a great idea. And
yeah.
And then all of a sudden you just look around, and like you said, you get your letter from Hogwarts and say, wow, I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great because you have that feeling that where you're working with this group and everybody, is just pitching in and doing their part, and it just really brings everything together.
Yeah.
How'd you get started? Like, where did you begin? You got your letter from Hogwarts, and then where?
I was very fortunate. I came from a poor family. hole in the ground, in a trailer park, where you can see the floor and rats and possums and shit like that. I'm not saying boo-hoo, it's nothing like that, but I came from the streets, you know what I mean? Very poor community in South Texas. My mom worked her ass off. She eventually upgraded, bought herself a house, you know what I mean? So I'm very proud of what she's afforded me growing. So definitely 14, 15 years old, up Millhouse for me. And I was fortunate that I had some family members that had video cameras that I stole and just borrowed and never gave back, things like that. And the very first, you broke up, by the way, but the very first camera I ever had, I bought myself on QVC. It was a 5 megapixel camera. And before that, I was working on videotape, things like that. I was very inspired by professional wrestling. You're back. I was very inspired by professional wrestling and Jackass. I attribute those two things as the biggest influences, more so than like people want to say Ingmar Bergman or Scorsese or, the Coen brothers influenced my brain. Truth be told, Spike Jonze, what he did with Jackass and wrestling. I still watch wrestling. I'm like a kid that never grew up. I know it's fake and I don't care. I love that it's choreographed, stylized, violence / melodrama / stunts, all in one take. I love that 360-degree sort of Coliseum-like, just old school, kind of like the first art form in a way, and mix
Gladiator.
Yeah, exactly.
The modern gladiators that have evolved to a point where now they can, they have to, like you said, it's choreographed. They work their asses off to not just make sure they give a good show, because they get to do it, they do it live. That's but right. Also make sure that they don't actually kill each other or hurt each other,
And people die in the ring, it's a real, it's like Brandon Lee. People die in the middle of the art form, and you got to respect it. But so I emulated that growing up, watching Jackass gave me the permission to it was kind of like my first shot at guerrilla filmmaking. Like, oh, let's go take the camera and do something guerrilla style, do something Gonzo style, where it's like, is this real? Is this not real? And then Andy Kaufman, who also blended, a Jackass type and wrestling, he kind of blended that together as well. That kind of stuff really got me going as a kid. So I started, doing backyard wrestling with my friends, things like that. Started, filming us hitting each other in the head with steel chairs. And I kind of I did that for years. I think we had like 7 seasons worth of like just material where we're cutting each other up and crazy things. That was very cinematic to me. Those were like little violent tone poems that kind of was like my film school in a lot of ways. And the first thing I ever independently really did that wasn't with a group of people, I liked helping my friends that were doing stuff as well. But the first thing I ever did, how I got started, when I was 24 years old, I made a feature film. I made my first film. I wrote a script with a writing partner, and I've said this, I've been quoted as such, with the budget of hot dogs and handshakes, I was able to make my first film. Facebook marketing, was able to sell a movie theater out. Very fortunate. A lot of friends, a lot of family, but a lot of strangers as well, that saw my name in the paper. This was 2012. And the dream was fulfilled. It was accomplished after that. You know what I mean? Ever since then, it's been, what's the next thing?
I totally agree. I think my camera just crapped out again, so I'm gonna switch over.
Man, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it does that.
Just like cinema, this is a mistakist art form.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and switch back real quick to this one. Stand by.
Good.
So sorry for the glare above me. I got my lights on.
You should do a podcast, man. You should do a podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely going to turn this one into a podcast. Let me just switch over the camera here.
I would subscribe and I would hear it every day.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. All right, there we go. So I guess we can rule, you for learning, Google, friends, street, and experience. Did you do a little film school?
Yeah, I didn't go to film school. Just like Quentin Tarantino says, I didn't go to film school. I went to films. I listened to a lot of audio commentaries, listened to a lot of podcasts. I got into podcasts like in 2005, when they were barely happening. I'm a hipster. Audio commentaries, I would rip them from DVDs and then export them, put them on my Windows Zune which I thought was like the craziest, most innovative thing at the time. I'd walk around. I was working at a Lowe's overnight, stalker. And while I was putting up paint cans, I would be listening to Richard Linklater's audio commentary or whatever. So the truth is, I mean, you can know everything. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans until you go out and execute. You know what I mean? I always tell writers who want to co-write stuff with me, I'm like, at the same time, it doesn't really fucking matter, because when you go out there, that if that actor is not hitting that line the way you envisioned it, you're going to have to rewrite it for them. All that matters is the day of filming. And then even after that, is this scene even going to make the movie? You know what I mean? When you're on the cutting room floor, that's the final draft of the script. So I'm very big on progress is greater than perfection. I'm very big on complete is better than perfect. And repetition is the mother of skill. Going out and finishing that short, moving on to the next. People invite me to like their Facebook pages every day, and I like them all because at the end of the day, I might as well support them, because I really don't believe. I think most people do one day of filming, they make a teaser, and then we never hear about that again. You know, it's really rare when you see somebody kind of promoting a fully formed, realized, crystallized, finished version of something that has my attention. But usually it's, you know, most people online are, hey, come reward me for the nothing that I've done. So that kind of scares me more than anything. So that was enough for me to go out and want to create things. I'm only happy when I'm creating something and getting that feedback.
I can imagine. And you have a good point about that. That, you know, you mentioned earlier in one of your Facebook.
I think there might be a lag here.
I think there definitely is a little bit. Let's see if it catches up with itself. Okay, I think we're doing all right. When you mentioned, you know, how, you know, you'll see things where people will, you know, go out and they will maybe film they'll maybe film a trailer. Are you picking me up? Google Live, we gotta love it. I can see and hear you. Oh, maybe my camera took a dump again. There we go. Okay. I'm back. Okay, I got you good.
Yeah, we're breaking up there, friend.
Yeah, there was a lag there. All right, let's see. How are you doing there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We're back. Okay.
All right, that's the glory of live broadcasting.
It's all good, man.
It's good stuff.
Don't worry about it.
No worries. No, it was like you were saying, you know, people go out and they ask for support. I actually, you know, I go to Indiegogo and I troll through and I watch, you know, people who are, you know, going crowdfunding films, and I see a lot of the, you know, the teaser trailers. I see a lot of people do teaser trailers, and then it never goes any farther. And I remember, and not to be a cliche, but Kevin Smith really was, you know, one of the people that I just absolutely really fell into. And I remember he said, you know, don't go spend, if you don't have $6,000, don't make a $6,000 movie. If you got $500, make a $500 movie. He was one of the you know, exceptions to the rule, where he got and he was talking in a commentary about how he just you know, just completely my camera just died again. That's
it's all good, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we'll keep rolling.
I have a bone to pick with
his
Kevin. You know, I actually think he hasn't made a good movie since Dogma, you know, and even then, Chasing Amy is really, like, you know, I hate to be that guy, but I have a big bone to pick with Kevin Smith. I feel like somewhere along the way, his fucking balls dropped off for sure. However, in that independent sense, you know, he carried the fire and liberated a lot of indie filmmakers to go out and do it. Maybe like the Duplass brothers and guys like that wouldn't have existed, you know, without a Kevin Smith type. So he's given a lot of value to the scene, but I would say that let's give Kevin Smith like let's overcompensate him with credit more than I think he deserves. Let's say Clerks was so revolutionary that it garnered him a 20-year credit. That has expired. You know what I mean? And so I kind of feel like, what the fuck is he doing? I'd like to see him do something incredible. This is a guy that, you know, I don't care about Cop Out. I don't care his reasons why he makes movies today. I think he should stop. I think unless he has, I mean, like Clerks 3, we don't need that. Or Jane Silent Bob Strikes Back, you know, the sequel. We don't need that either. Nobody's fucking asking for that. I don't think Jay and Silent Bob is a draw. Is going to. I'll be very surprised if that movie makes it out in nationwide cinema. But I don't think we need Kevin Smith anymore. If he was a superhero, there's no more Kevin Smith bat signal. We need him anymore, in my opinion.
I agree to disagree. I like his work, but I will agree that he did something at the time that was fantastic, and then it just, like you said, it built him a 20-year credit that you know, kept going and perpetuated itself. So so let's think about maybe some of the obstacles that you've overcome in filmmaking or in life, if you want to share with them.
The biggest thing I've ever overcame is my own self-esteem. That's the truth, and that's the real shit that I talk about on these Facebook Lives. My second film was entitled The Seven Hands of God. I put $8,000 of my own money into that movie. Never saw a dime of it back. I don't even have a copy of that movie myself. The producers have it. I think they're recutting the movie. We shot that movie in 8 days, which you shouldn't do, and it shows. You know, we were being fancy. I was a 26-year-old me that just wouldn't do those things today. So and after that, I mean, it hurt. You know, my girlfriend was like 6, 7, 8 months pregnant when I was making that movie. I quit my job at a Burger King to make that movie. I sacrificed a lot. You know, I went into a big, deep depression. I gained so much weight. I was going through this postpartum stuff, all this real shit. And in spite of all that, I made a movie. And in spite of all that, we screened it twice, you know, at a movie theater. And it was such a failure. Not just the movie itself, which I believe it was, but the experience was such a failure. I really do, and it's kind of hard to say this without a shitload of ego, but I really do believe that I have failed more than most people have tried. And that is a secret ingredient in this business that goes completely unnoticed. You have to eat shit. I mean, once again, I don't want to be romantic about sacrifice, but that's one thing. I don't know if I'd call it a setback, or I don't know if I'd call it, you know, whatever, but that's the most valuable piece of information that I can give to somebody else is I failed. Guillermo del Toro has failed. Paul Thomas Anderson's first movie, I don't know if he had final cut, but I know the studio renamed the movie for him. You know what I mean? And this happens to a lot. Joss Whedon with Avengers 2, like, you know, this happens to a lot of filmmakers. Most recently, David Ayer with Suicide Squad. That movie was a piece of shit. He took it on the chin like a fucking champ. And he literally said, guys, this is like my 5th movie. Give me a fucking break. Respect.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kind of like that Rocky sensibility. It's not about how many times you can get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and get back up. So even after that, a year later, I made a movie to get over it. You know, I had to make another movie to get over it. And that's what it took. It took me to reformat my brain, the hard drive of my brain, to reevaluate, to ask myself what's important. Never make a movie that you don't love. Never make a movie about a script that you don't fucking love. That's another lesson. You know what I mean? I learned so much from that. I learned more from that failure than I've ever learned from a success. And that's kind of why I talk about it. Not because it's spilled milk and sour grapes and wah, wah, wah. Not that. Actually, would you pardon me for a moment? I'm going to see what time it is.
Certainly.
All right, cool. Let's I'll try to give you the best you know, value that I can in 15 minutes, man, because I do got to split in a bit. Let me ask you, what can I do for you? You know, I'll be more than happy to do as much as I can, you know, in terms of helping you with your creativity, helping you with your work-life balance, being there as a friend. If you want my number, hit me up with your phone number, man. You know, I appreciate that. I mean, I'm in Austin, Texas. I'm right in the center between LA and New York and Chicago, and you know, things are popping in Atlanta and New Orleans and shit like that. What can I do for you? What do you need?
Oh man, that's like the most generous. That's the most generous thing I've had, you know, from any interview, from any person that said anything. And quite honestly, my thing is learning the you know, the raising the funds, the marketing, and the distribution. Like learning that, you know, getting into that, because you know, we made a lot of little shorts, and we throw them up on YouTube, and I love giving them away for free, and I love, you know, making little compilations and just getting better. But I've worked as an online marketer for like 4 years, and that's actually what got me. I used to do compilation films and things like that, where I would be listening to a music track and I'd be like, oh my God, that's so cool. And I would then just cut, you know, a movie and just grab the scenes that I liked and put them in, right? And then finally got to the point where I'm like, I want to be the one that picks. I want it to be my visual. I don't want somebody else's stuff. I want to do it. I want that. You know, I want to make that. I want to make that visual myself, the way I want it to be. Not that, you know, okay, that's pretty close. It almost tells the story that I'm hearing in the song, but it doesn't really do it. You know, so then I, you know, started going, and as I've been, you know, working, you know, I call the colleges. I live in just outside Daytona Beach, Florida. So I'm very lucky that I've got, you know, Universal Orlando, you know, just down the road, and you know, Full Sail and all these other great places. But in the area I'm in is very, very small. I started as, you know, film clubs. I've started, you know, trying to, you know, bring people together, and so finding, you know, cast members, you know, get on Craigslist, throw out an ad, so, you know, hey, free food, and, you know, something, you know, here's,
so let me just hop in right here. Here's what I believe.
Yeah.
And you can find I'm not one person saying this. Like, some of the best, most influential artists, filmmakers, businessmen, content creators, whatever you want to call us, are and take it from me, man. You know, in 2005 was my first, or maybe 05, 06, it was like my first taste of YouTube. I remember E-Bomb's World, and I remember, you know, very, very beginner video content sites like Break and websites of that sort. And I was afraid of YouTube. You know, I think I did a week of vlogs, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then maybe another Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of vlogs, 10 videos, and I had 500 subs. And I was scared. Like, this was at a time when Fred was the only guy in town that had 1 million subscribers. And I was so scared of all that attention. I was like, I can't do this. And I regret that, because if I never stopped, I would have millions of dollars. I would have bank YouTube money. I would have had that $1 million subscriber plaque. I know that for a fact, but I got scared. I wasn't ready. I was, you know, 19, 20, 21. I got scared. I stopped. Same thing with Vine. I remember when Vine came on, 2011, 2012, I was an elitist, and I looked down on Vine, and I was like, this shit is not cinema. This shit is not art. Like, what the fuck is this? 6 seconds, short attention span. You know, if you look at the data, most people don't even have the attention span for a 6-second Vine. I was like, this is hurting the industry. Man. And guess what? People, you know, made a lot of money on Vine. People made a lot of connections on Vine. People made some great content on Vine. And now I look back and I watch Vine compilations, and I was like, fuck, I really missed the boat. So right now, it's really easy to look back on you know, look backwards on that timeline of what has happened and say those were great moments. This moment, this moment right now.
Yeah.
Go back to this video and watch this fucking moment. This moment right now is the moment that 5 years from now you're gonna say, fuck, that Google Hangout with Knives was the moment, and I fucking fucked it up and I dropped the ball. Don't let this moment be that moment. This isn't me, motivational speaker, do a fucking backflip, walk on fire. This isn't that. This isn't that. But don't be ego. And the best piece of advice that I ever got was from this businessman, Gary Vaynerchuk. Best piece of advice ever. It blew my fucking mind, and I was like, I would have got there, But having somebody just condense it into a little E=mc² formula, I couldn't look at things the same again. And that's document, don't create. I'll say it again, document, don't create. Your journey of like, I'm trying to fucking find actors, I'm writing this script, I'm going to Craigslist, my town is so small. That's a movie.
That's the story.
You might not like that. Maybe your self-esteem or whatever it is, maybe it's hard, you know, to want to do this. It's hard to want to flip the camera and say, am I interesting? But you are. And there's an audience for it. And if you do that, and if you spread love like violence, and if you do what Knives Monroe is doing, which is, you know, I made my first movie. It cost, you know, whatever it cost to make, Hot Dogs and Handshakes. It took 2 years to make it from inception to putting it out there in a theater, you know, days and nights of no sleep, brain damage, hallucinations, you know, all this stuff, heartbreak, crying on the floor, you know, finally making it, you know, the last moment of like, cut, that's a wrap. I mean, it's so decadent, all these things. It has 4,000 views on YouTube. I've never promoted it, but it has 4,000 views on YouTube. I do a Facebook Live, and in 24 hours, I have more views with that than I did my film. The market is telling me that there's more value in this conversation right now, friend. That's what the market is telling me. So I'm going to do more of that. Document, don't create. This is why I told people, you know, for those of you that have spent money on the 5D Mark IVs and the Panasonic GH5s and, you know, all that garbage, if you want to make your money back, you don't have to go film Sweet 16s and bar mitzvahs and quinceañeras and weddings and shit that you don't want to do. Film Little League practices. Go out and film other filmmakers making movies. Do their social media. That's value. If you're good enough, if you really all are all that and then some and more, like you believe, your content, go out there and do interviews. That's good. That brings awareness to their content. That brings attention to their brand, to their film, to the actors. You do an interview, have a little soundbite, flip it on Instagram, has 10,000 views. It's probably going to be more successful than their full-length feature film final product.
Right.
You just do money? No, you already have this stuff. Document. Don't create.
I thought I saw that Facebook Live, and I was when you started talking about that whole idea of you know, of going and approaching other people who are on the same journey and saying, hey, let me, you know, do the behind the scenes and so on and so forth. And I was like, oh my God, that's just so good. If someone came to me and said, hey, do you mind if I hang around and, you know, just get to do the behind the scenes, you know, I would be like, hell yeah, because now I can spare somebody to, you know, do something else instead of me having to actually, you know, go do that also. And so it was just, it's gold. And I really appreciate that because I've just like 50 ideas just blew into my head about.
I think it's practical, you know, I think it's practical over go kickstarts or go write that script or go sell that script or buy this new lens, which will change everything or whatever. It doesn't matter because, you know, the truth is quality wise, you're going to spend $2,000. That's like maximum quality that you're going to get. You know, if you spend $500 and then you spend $2,000, the jump in quality is far greater than if you spend $2,000 and $50,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just stay in that median and go out there and flip work. And then you're going to meet contacts and then you're going to find locations that are going to feed your brain. You're going to say, I'm going to come back here again and I'm going to write something for this scene. And then you meet that one actress that like likes your work because you made her look good and you put that shit out there and it has your name on it. So now all of a sudden you have value. And if you do that 10 times, people are going to hit you up and say, hey man, can you do that for me? Hey man, can you do that for me? Shit, I'm really busy that day. Well, you know, I can give you $100 if you do this for a day. Boom, you're in business. Away you go. So, but guess what? It has to find you. You have to meet it halfway. It has to find you working. And, you know, I just think I believe in risk reversal. You know, I believe in do as much as you can with the least amount of downside as possible. I think this is something. And I'm not reinventing the wheel. It's documentary filmmaking, right? But it's behind the scenes and it's valuable. And I think if your shit is good enough, it'll be far more valuable long-term, have more long-term value than the actual finished product. I've done a 24-hour film race. I think if there was a movie about me doing that 24-hour film race, it would be far more valuable than the actual finished 5-minute product.
Well, watching the insanity of how, you know, write, shoot, edit, print, you know, everything in 24 hours. We have a 48-hour one here, and you know, they just,
well,
you know, it's
amazing. Well, then you have a scene.
Yeah,
you have a scene then. So go out there, you know, shake the hands with all those people. They might not get it, but if you're doing it and you put it out there, 1 is better than 0, as my friend says. 1 is better than 0. So then you have another one, and then you have another one, and then so on. And you know, people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. And I think, dude, if you do that for 2 years, holy fuck, it's gonna prime you for the next thing. And it's gonna be, you're gonna have a lot more fun doing it. You know what I mean? Far more contacts, more friends. And I think that shit's very, very valuable, you know, and it's practical, and it has to find you doing it in the middle. You know, you actually have to meet it halfway. So that's really what I suggest for you, you know, going out there and doing that, and you know, writing your stuff and making your feature film and all that. But the truth is, I've done it, you know, and I just think, you know, this goes back to that Vine conversation, that YouTube conversation. Facebook Live is happening. Facebook video is happening. The majority of all people's content is being consumed on a phone. You know, majority of content that is consumed on a phone is consumed without audio. So that's why you see subtitled videos and things like that, and you know, curated content and all this stuff. So everything's redefined. The medium has changed. I used to make movies for theaters, and now I'm doing this on a phone for the phone. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm still a content creator. I just never thought I'd be a personality guy I just never thought I'd be that. But at the same time, like, I'm a filmmaker. Like, you know, Tarantino is that to an extent. Kevin Smith is that to an extent, and so on. So it's still in the dimension of what I want to do. You know, because of that, I have the privilege in talking to you and being on this show, which I think is very cool. So that's what I recommend, you know. Ways of doing things are already out there. Find one and go the fuck all in and do that. It sounds to me like you may already have gear. It sounds to me like you already have your workflow of editing stuff. Like, go out there and do it. Take your iPhone if it's a camera issue or whatever. I really believe that works. And then go into the Facebook Frugal Filmmaking group page. Now we can syndicate our own shit.
Yep.
Now you can go to 10 different group pages and Facebook Live it, drop it, engage, talk to people, have that community, build your community. If you've done that on a long enough timeline, you've cultivated, and if you're good enough, 2,000 stark raving mad fans are going to be anticipating the next thing that you're going to do, and then you blow their minds on that next thing, and it's all free content. So when it comes time to say, hey, I want to do this kind of project now, I just need 100 of you guys to pitch in $10. There, boom, then you can drop your Indiegogo, and all of a sudden you can make that thing and give it back, you know, and so on and so forth. That's the business. Except now it's not about making it in Hollywood, making it in LA, no, now you can do it. So do it.
Right.
The end.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Knives Monroe, everybody. You've just heard probably some of the best advice for this moment, for today, and for what's happening. You've probably just heard some of the best stuff that you're going to know. And I'm personally going to absolutely take his advice. And I definitely hope that everybody watches this video has got some kind of value out of it. Like, really appreciate.
Let's make a promise. Let's make a promise on video right now.
All right. Yeah. What you got?
And in 30 days, I want to do a follow-up of this video, and I want to see what you're up to.
Okay. So 1 month from today.
That's 4 weeks.
4 weeks from today. We have something to show.
We're going to do this again. This is just part 1. We're going to do the sequel, Strikes Back, in 30 days, and we're going to see where you're at. What have you done? Seriously, you say you're going to do it, but I want to see you do it. And
let's put our money where our mouths are, and come up with something. Yeah, no, I agree.
Sounds great.
Because that's how you do it. You know, you say it on. Everybody who just heard me live agree to this. So we're gonna find out in 4 weeks whether I'm totally full of shit or not. Right?
That's right.
I don't know.
Right.
No, I'm gonna be definitely trying to figure that out. Even if it's just me filming me trying to figure out how to do stuff. But we're gonna have something up there. So we're gonna. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in and visiting with us. I know that everybody that is gonna watch this video is gonna take away something, and I love you've got that great attitude of, like, you give value, you get value, and that's absolutely true. So again, thank you so much. Do you have anything else to say, or I know you got to split, so I don't want to drag it out. So
I do got to split. It was an honor to have this. I was glad to be able to honor it. You know what I mean? I know we're in 2 different time zones and shit, but it's one of my days off, and I try to overdo it and maximize my days off for sure. I got to go pick up my wife at work right now, but it was an honor to be here. This is the real shit. Just go out and do it, man. And I look forward to part 2. I look forward to that follow-up 30 days from now.
All right. Well, part 2 is going to be, we're June 25 at 7 p.m. I'll be setting up the event right after we finish here, and then I'm going to go out and just do it.
Just do it.
All right.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
All right. Get her done, and I'll go text you some information, and we'll be in touch. And thank you again for taking your time.
Take care, man. Have a good one.
Take care, man. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. That was Knives Monroe, director, producer, filmmaker, rebel, and his real name is Knives Monroe. Fantastic. So we'll see chapter 2 of this moment next month. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm Shaun, and I wish you all the best. Keep your shutters rolling and have a nice day.